Hi, we're here at SHOT Show 2019 with Shannon and Jason from the Precision Rifle Series. But before we get down to business, again, a nice shout out to the Capstone Group who let us use their deluxe facility here at SHOT Show for your rimfire folks. Look at this. All right, now we're done with the product placement. Let's get into it.
All right, well, welcome and thanks for spending some time with us. As you know, a lot of folks follow us because they have an interest in Precision Rifle Series. Why don't we talk a little bit about kind of your respective roles with that organization and what your focus is?
Sure. I was approached in October, just a few months ago, and worked behind the scenes with the prior owner, with Brian. It was a little much for him. It is a large organization in some aspects. In other aspects, it's pretty small. So he reached out to us, and I consulted with a bunch of guys throughout the industry and like, hey, what's best? So I feel we were drafted a little bit, and then in December we made that announcement, took over officially, built the team during that time, and kind of looked and studied what was going on and talked to a lot of different people. Made shooter focus groups, match director committees, and behind the scenes it's awful difficult to. You guys are media gurus, but the online comes with a lot of benefits, but also comes with a lot of. It's hard to get anything accomplished online. So we did a lot of things by getting a lot of feedback the right way. Brought Jason Redding on board. He does a lot of work for me at K&M. So it was a natural fit. And obviously my wife Jill, who's not here with us right now, does a lot of the social media, the marketing, the sponsorship was huge for the series, and that has been overwhelming just a short few weeks.
Now, with any change of ownership, folks will say, hey, what's going to be different? A lot of times things precipitate a change in ownership. I think you got into that a bit. But are folks going to see a big difference, or is it going to be more a continuance of what they've come to expect from the Precision Rifle Series?
Ed is going to depend on the perspective. If they're heavily involved and they rely either on the information flow, the community, the sponsorship, they are going to see a big difference because we answer email every 24 hours. We put information out. We're very aware of some of the things that you guys want improvement on. You cannot in our community. That's just how it is.
Right.
So we address those rapidly in our communication. Our biggest thing is our new website, which is launched in just a few weeks, so they can see change theirs. We also understood the need of stability. When you have that many ownership changes, that can be good, and there's opportunities there. But there's also a learning curve. The good thing is I've been involved with the PRS in some manner almost since its inception. The club series, which is now the regional series. I started and used across the country. So there's familiarity there that will kind of offset some of those learning curves. Me and K&M being a match run two of the biggest matches out there, that helps. There's a lot of continuity and relationships already built in.
Yeah.
So we're able to hit the ground running. For your average shooter that shoots and wants to count points and go and enjoy the community, that camaraderie, like, hey, I'm brand new, let me help this guy out. He's not gonna maybe see that many changes unless he's looking for it. But they will be there, and they already are there. And we've seen that just here at SHOT Show. Like the hugs from all these sponsors, and hey, you're so great. And it's not me, it's not Jason really. It's Julie who's behind the scene. People don't even try to talk to me anymore. They're like, is Julie around? I'm like, sure, go ahead. So.
Well, if people have a choice, they want to talk to my wife instead of me anyway. So
yeah, well, she's a little prettier than I am, so that helps. But and that's what it takes. It takes a team. And that's where I think the PRS, some of the improvements we see is it's not one or two guys in charge. It's not the director. It's the shooters. It's the match directors. It's the leadership, leading, not controlling, and getting buy-in and it's just organizational leadership. So I'm able to bring 20 years of that experience, that organizational experience to the series. And understanding how to get that buy-in, build that teamwork, build cohesive teams. It just takes time, and I think that's what the PRS needs more than else. Because the matches, there's no complaints there. Shooting, who's complaining about that? Yeah. The politics of it, we'll try to minimize that when we can influence. And so far, it's been awesome. And we've seen that in our numbers. Last year at this time, they opened registration up, and it was a certain number, a small trickle. We did it small, didn't really announce it or push, hey guys, registration's open, because we wanted to to wait for the website. Our numbers have doubled from the prior past 2 years. And most guys don't sign up until the snow melts and they're starting to shoot. So that is a very positive sign. Top the sponsors. So we understand the burden we got. The calling you have, if we will. We don't like it. We don't want to make it about us because it's not about us. It's about the shooters. I think there's some responsibility there that is important. And I kind of borrow from servitorial leadership in the sense of my military background. And we think that's the right approach, and it's been received very refreshingly. So we're excited about that.
So for a lot of folks that are new to Precision Rifle Series, I believe the face of the PRS is really the regional, right? Because they probably don't have the budget, or they may be a little bit intimidated to come out to the big national matches unless they're in their backyard. So at that level, that regional level, what sort of things would they see as far as kind of national involvement, the support of kind of that local community of shooters?
So for the newer shooter, like, hey, what's this PRS about? It's the fastest growing shooting sport. You come to SHOT Show, everyone, Daniel LaFance has got this phenomenal, all these things. Everyone's trying to capture that market.
Right.
It's great. It grows the sport. So the PRS has been part of that for 7 years, and we're all together rising the tide to raise all boats, and that's important. But at the end of the day, the match directors, those regional directors you're talking about, when they get their 20, 40, 60, 80 guys, that little Saturday match in Podunk nowhere, somewhere across USA, and they say, who's new? And the guy's sitting there in the back, and he's so nervous, he's probably dangerous, and he says, I'm new. And they says, hey, seasoned guy, why don't you go shoot with him and take care of him? 8 hours later, 6 hours later, a guy smiles ear to ear. He's like, this is the best thing in the world. So the PRS, the scores, the competition, that's great. We want to celebrate competitive achievement. But the foundation that builds on that is those newer shooters. Is that like, wow, this is awesome. And it's those people, the shooters, not Shannon K, not Jay. That's the PRS. It's that weekend. And anyone trying to distract from that has ulterior motives at the end of the day.
Yeah, and recently I was going through Forbes magazine and came across an article on the sport.
Right.
And did they ever reach out to you as part of that article?
Yeah, they did. They interviewed me as part of the article, and I was a little frustrated with that article because they want to make it about me a little bit more. I don't like that, because I want to build this organization that if I die on the aircraft the way home, then it's still functioning, and the systems are in place, the organizational structure's in place, that it's still viable, because there's a lot of people who depend on it. So yeah, they did reach out to me on that one, because they're curious.
Well, yeah, and it just illustrates how mainstream the shooting sports have become, because I mean, maybe you feel like this, but I think with sort of what Steve and I do with 6'5" guys, we're a couple of paper pushing schleppers, with our day jobs, but we try and present an approachable face of the shooting sports, because there are a lot of folks that really don't have any intersection with the shooting sports, and maybe they look at us, it's like, hey, these are the kind of normal guys, and they're really passionate about it. Do you? I would imagine you feel that sort of desire to expand the or affect the perceptions of the shooting sports?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. So it is 2019. Human beings are inherently good, but we're not perfect across the board. And we can be so vocal now online. So if you want to see certain segments of I'm sure you guys have been a part of and what you guys do. So you'll see like, oh wow, this is it's uncomfortable, and I'll leave it at that. But when you go to the matches like we're talking about, you're like, wait, what was this thing I saw online? And that's why all those distractors, because they're slided in somewhere or whatever, they're trying to make it about them. And as the PRS organization, it's not about anybody except the collective. Not that I'm a socialist by any means, but it's the shooters. That's what we're responsible for. And when you get past that, then that's what it is. So, guys, use social media. Use the social media as a tool to gather information, discuss ideas, and there's so much. Use the good. And then the guys that are, you need to try stuff for yourselves at the end of the day. And when guys do, when they go to that PRS match, they go to that club match, or even the big match, like the Gap Grind, I mean, that's the biggest match in the world. What are we talking about? We're talking 200 brand new guys that are too afraid to watch you in a video to come out. You drag them out. We're going to shoot this match. And then guess what? The success rate of that match for the PRS shooters that shoot pro series or and members the next year is probably the best benefit that PRS has in memberships that we've seen the past 2 years.
And is there a particular effort to matriculate newer shooters outside of folks? You know, like our friends, it's kind of easy. They know we shoot. But again, I just thought of that Forbes article. I thought it was pretty landmark. I mean, this is the magazine you see in business class. You see at the airline lounges, and people are reading about this along with their mutual fund index strategy. So you've gone really mainstream, right? So how do you capitalize on that?
I went in that one like a little uneasy. I'm like, okay, like, you know, and he's talking questions because that demographic that's reading for is, like you said, it's probably not the demographic that is exactly looking. And those are the guys that come in, spend $10,000 and go in and shoot if they want, because that's probably their demographic. And the SHOT Show's capturing all these products. Like, hey, there's you go spend $1,500, $2,500 on a rifle, throw some accessories, optics on it, compete at a reasonable price. The PRS can't affect that. We can't affect the cost of things, but we can affect. We can influence a little bit of like making it more attainable for those guys. We do that by the venues, the matches, the sport growing. You know, if only 5 guys want something, well, it's not a viable business for me to put a burger joint with 5 people living in the town.
Oh, sure, yeah.
You know, so if the matches are only 5 guys, well, they're not sustainable. But if we continue to go it up, and you get your buddy in, and you get your buddy in, so the PRS will promote that. We'll promote that. Yes, let us help you. Let me help you, branding. Right, 20 minutes before we're here, I'm running from one end to branding master directors in Michigan, Wisconsin, New York, states that we would never even thought about 3 years ago. Right. New York, New Hampshire. Like, are you kidding me? Really? The fastest growing segment right now? You guys, well, the South. Yeah, the South is the mainstay. Not Northwest, no. Southwest, no. The Northeast is our fastest growing segment. And it's in states that you wouldn't think that are that shooter friendly. And that's how we can impact from an organizational level. But I do like to bleed into the personal level too, because that's how it happens. It's this personal relationship. It's the first experience someone has going to a match director, and they get welcomed with open arms and like, hey, you know what? We all miss targets too. Because you know what I'm saying. And so that culture, we really want to capitalize on that, because that has got us here. And I don't want to lose that. And as we get bigger, we get more personalities. Guys want to get more professional. I think I should get paid. I'm the best shooter in the world. Okay, man. That's good. Maybe we could get there someday, but that's not high on the PRS's priority list. What's high on the priority list is the entire sport, you know, balance, the top, the bottom, and the entry level. So that's, and we have, of course, we have the production series, we have the production, all these different things. There's avenues there for them to get into it.
I'm curious, you know, for the folks that have been participating in PRS, they've signed up or they will sign up for this year, as you've come in and formed your leadership team for this organization and solicited feedback around, you know, what sort of changes people want, what should we be considering that hasn't been done before? What's on kind of that roster of lists that you'll be looking at, or perhaps have already made a decision of things that might change?
So I've discussed some things with these committees. I do think as the sport grows, we need to, it ties back to the newer shooters, we need to have something for everybody. Okay. We have a 2-day series, and we could say, well, that's just for the people that are really into it. It's true to a point, but there's also a large segment of that these guys want to compete, but they can't compete with like a guy that shoots 12 matches every year and is top 5 in the country. So what do we have for him? Because what's the carrot for that person? Well, in top 150, go to the finale. So if you're in 1,000th place, what's your goal? Okay, all of a sudden the PRS has a little less value for that shooter. I want to address that by 2020. Tabled it for this year. I wanted to come in, provide some stability, do minimal changes that were top 3, and that's it. You know, okay. We did that with qualifiers. We had to equal. Speaking of the top side, it's not like we're ignoring it. Yeah. We had a bunch of top shooters, a bunch of matches. We saw some unequal parity in those weights. So as a series, we are in charge of the series, not in charge of the matches. We need to regulate that. How do we do that? Well, we're not going to change scoring because we did the numbers, we did the analytics. The matches are actually fine. Match directors do a phenomenal job overall. We need to pit the top shooters against each other more often. And so we did 12 qualifiers across the country and required scores, 1 of your 3 scores, to come from those qualifiers. Gotcha. So if we're the top 4 in the country, you don't go to one match, you go to the other, you go to the other, we're all coming out with top points. Somewhere along the year, we got to come together and battle it out.
Right.
And create some separation.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And in talking to the vendors here, there's a real interest in rimfire. Have you all considered expanding beyond centerfire and maybe exploring rimfire matches?
We have thought about it, and was approached in the past when I was involved a little bit, and I actually advised the leadership at the time not to. All the organizations right now involved in precision rifle, whatever they are, and we've all met here. Most of us have met here this week. We have structural problems. The sport has grown that fast. I talked to Australian PRS because we are international. Hey man, how you doing out there? I'm doing great, man. We got 8 matches. 80% of our shooters are members. We're just jamming. I'm like, good man. You look like the PRS 7 years ago. Look at your structure. Make sure you're right for the growth that's coming. So we have that. So the membership has generally been kind of up and down. It's going to be up this year. I already see that, so that's good. But is it enough? Because before we had 12 matches. Okay, we go to 20 matches. Okay, then the club series starts. Previous ownership, well-intentioned. Hey, we're going to demonetize the regional series. Well, that's great because now there's 400 matches. 400 matches, which means by the time we're here, even though they're most on the weekends, 2 or 3 matches went off. And that's all those shooters, all those profiles were free. It got to the point where it led to the leadership changes 3 or 4 over the past 3 or 4 years because the organization is just too hard, and then changing it was so hard because so it's like someone's got to be the bad guy, and someone's got to come in responsibly, try to communicate to hey guys, we're flawed structurally. We have reached out to everything we can do to our sponsors responsibly, and we have, and they have been awesome. But we're looking at 50% of our budget is sponsor related. Any organization that's not sustainable or smart or viable. So we got to pull more from the match directors and from the shooters pool that want to be a part about it. And we'll try some things, and we got some pushback. And anytime something's for free, and we're not breaking the mold here. We're looking at USPSA, we're looking at the pistol things. Hey, $40 membership, every $5 a match, reasonable things that we need to implement. We're going to try to implement that in 2020. We need to probably take some time and communicate that. I'm starting right here with you guys, and I appreciate that. And we got to show them, hey, this is where it goes. Because if I tell people the numbers, if you tell me the PRS is that small, yeah. But at the same time, I don't want to get up publicly and be like, hey, we're just a large organization, because we are, in the numbers wise. But so we got to get it balanced out. We got to get it fixed. And that's the structure that needs to get to that we need to implement. Because it continues to grow, and we're sharing that, cross-pollinate that with our partners. Hey guys, be careful. What we should have done is talk to all the pistol disciplines and those other disciplines and be like, hey, what growing pains are you going through? Because we just got hit by a baseball bat and didn't even realize it. So then that's what we're doing.
Oh, so you're looking to capitalize on some of the experience that the IPSC went through, for example?
Yeah, because they went through that. They still go through it.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, I see because I look online. I'm like, why are these people freaking out? And I'm like, we're just taking the same model. No one's getting rich here, guys. We're just not talking profits. We're talking viability.
Right.
And then certain settings, you go, the sponsors are like, dude, this organization is so awesome. It gives me a perfect vehicle to go down and reach. And then the information flow. Everyone's used to free information, this and that. I'm like, guys, that's people behind that. Yeah. So we had to let some very good people involved in the PRS. We had to let them go. We really have found all the efficiencies we can to do that. And it's hard, but we're going to get it done. And I think once we explain that and get that message out, people are going to be like, oh, okay, yeah, man, and they already are. And they already seen it. They're like, hey, because they see some of the shenanigans online, and they're like, dude, I'm signing up. And so it's happened the exact opposite effect. We're growing despite people trying to, they don't like it for whatever reason. But all those politics aside, you're not going to get away. You can't. There's nothing bad could happen to it because it's the people at those matches like we're talking about, and that's where we gotta keep our chin up and our focus on that at the end of the day.
Let's talk a little bit about. We talked a little about potential rimfire now.
Oh, that's right.
A couple of years.
Yeah. So I'm sorry, I didn't answer your question, guys. So with those organizational struggles, that's what the decision was made on. Yeah. What is our mission statement? What is our vision? Will this help the growth of precision rifle shooting? maybe you could have a discussion about that. Then the first thing I have to do is look at my organization. I just got done explaining to you, like, hey, I don't think we have the resources. So then I go like, hey, who's already doing that? And I go look at it, look at their numbers, I look at my organizational effort. I'm like, it's a good thing and good on them. But we've already learned some hard lessons because we're bigger than they are. And I'm like, hey, that's not good right now. I can't have 500 members trying to run a national series if there's 500 members and look at, okay, so they brought in $10,000, website, up cost, this, that, organization, leaders, bodies, labor. I'm talking across. Do we want to continue to create little mini series that bleed the organization and take us away from our point? So we're going to be a little laser focused.
And that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it does. It does.
A couple of years ago, Keros had launched the semi-auto series.
Yeah.
Will that be kind of pushed to the side for the time being? Or
Yeah, it has been. Quietly, respectfully. I looked at that past 2 years, the viability. We ran a gas gun match at K&M. I think what I found is we were eating our own.
Okay.
Yes, we were bringing some of the 3-gun guys and the smaller frame AR caliber guys in there, but we were kind of eating our own.
Yeah.
So, and then it was in certain part, very big in Texas Southeast. And then the match, you go online and you poll people, oh, we love it. We got to do this. This is the best thing in the world. This is awesome. This is going to take off. Well, at the end of the day, guys, you got to sign up for matches. Then you're going to have to go. So this year, when I looked at okay, hey guys, what are you doing for the finale? Like, I'm not getting involved, but I just want to know, like, here's the numbers. We're thinking of canceling it. I'm like, okay, if you cancel it, we're definitely not bringing it back.
Yeah.
Like, it's just not, we're not going to be a part of the divisiveness, some of the other things. If we can't do it very, very well, we're not going to do it.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean we'll not do it again. It just means we're going to do it when the time's right, when our bread and butter and our foundations is established. And Jason's the right guy. It's one of the reasons on the team. So this year we're going to go talk to shooters. We're going to say, hey, is it worthwhile? And it's an easy implementation. Do we want to give you a gas gun category? Who would want that? And even if it's a low number, like our production numbers, that's okay, because it's not cost. It's not a heavy burden on us to manage that. But I got to talk to the match directors. Every match director, if they're PRS match, then they're going to have a category, and that's a little admin for them, and then they get maybe a trophy if we're going to recognize it. So it gets back to the match director. I don't want to do that. So it's like, shooters, you got to talk. Shooters, you got to use the bully pulpit a little bit to let us know what you want. So right now, we don't. Guys shoot a gas gun, they can shoot it open, they can shoot it in product if it follows the rules for the different things. But it is something that we are going to gather some input on in 19 and look at it 20, but 17 and 18 was pretty telling.
Right.
And you could say more promotion, you could say more, but I'm looking at Noveski. I'm looking at their series, just on the surface. Anytime I see, hey, match fees half off, this and that, that's an indicator.
It's a soft market.
That but it shouldn't be. You wouldn't think it'd be, because everyone's got an AR. So they're struggling to do that. So, okay, they're doing that. We don't want to compete with them. It's just like the rimfire. Is there a little something? Yeah, but you know what? Someone's already doing that. We don't need any more division. Go ahead, guys. Go ahead and do your rimfire league. And, you know what I'm saying? We don't need to.
That makes sense.
So.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense to focus on your core mission. I mean, I think folks can understand that. So just to summarize for the folks, who are watching this, and quite honestly, I'm asking the question because now I've got questions too. It's like, okay, so you can shoot at the club level, and I know in the past there's been a way that your scores are put into the system, and so maybe if you can just explain to folks, in a nutshell, what are the options? How does it work? What are the different levels you can sign up for?
So
what are the classes?
Because of that exact question, I was very adamant. Every one of these different things, my guys, someone's got to be the guy to explain it to everybody.
Right.
If you take our pro series, which is our 2-day matches, very little change there, other than the qualifiers we talked about. Then you take our 1-day series, which used to be the club series. It is now the regional series because it really has matured.
Okay.
And so you have those two; they're separate. Membership for this one is $100 for the PRS. We'll track your scores, get your T-shirt, get all the benefits. A lot of discounts on the website we have now to create more value for the membership from a lot of the partners we have here. Yep. The 1-day series is set up the exact same way. $40 membership, I get my points, I get on the website, and I shoot all the 1-day regional matches within my region. If I'm on the border, it doesn't matter. I can shoot anywhere, but the points will count. I'll compete within my region.
Okay.
The national, you shoot wherever you want. You're shooting against everybody in the country. Most guys actually do both. Most do both, and you can buy a combo membership for that.
Okay.
To go to the finale at the end of the year, top 150 plus the smaller segments, the ladies, the juniors. Well, there's a little piece for all them too. For here, you have your regional finales, which for most people are shooting the one-day matches. It's perfect for them. It's within my region. I'm not a flight guy. I'm not going to invest that much. I'm going to step into the sport and have a balanced approach. Some guys do that here too. They're a balanced approach. If you're in the top 5 in your region in the one-day series, you will gain entrance to the 2-day finale as well.
Ah, okay.
So that's
so there's a bit of
There's another path. Now
Okay.
there's some restrictions on there. I won't get into today.
Sure.
If you're sandbagging from over here, most people don't. But there's some restrictions if you've done it. If you qualified over here in years past, you can't qualify give this to somebody else. Let someone else work that way up. So.
No, that makes a lot of sense. And we may have an edit point here.
Hold that pose.
I think of the next hits. So what do you think we should delve into a little bit here?
We have about 13 minutes before that.
Before anything you want us to kind of pitch to you as a question?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm sitting here trying to think what we missed.
No, I mean that's a pretty good overview for your demographic. What do we miss in love? What more do we need to talk about?
So,
okay, you know what?
I do have a
Last.
question. So here we go.
Okay.
All right.
So I do have a question. That is, there's been a lot of talk in the forums just around, the folks gaming it and how there's sort of this, for most match directors, right, it's really been left up to the match directors to make rules around any potential gear restrictions, because some folks think it's a gear war, right? You show up with all this kit, and as long as you can carry it around, you can use it. Any thoughts in the national PRS stepping in and providing some guidelines on that?
Okay, so my background, which I don't get into a whole lot, there was not a lot of gear. And guys will actually shoot back at you. And I will tell you, that is so overblown, it's unbelievable. Now, are some guys if guys try to come to my match, or a lot of this is on the match directors, try to come to my match and pull out a bunch of contraptions, you're not going to execute that stage well, because I'm not going to give you enough time, because I want it to be very practical. All right, Jason grew up in the Marine Corps, I grew up in the Army, and the different disciplines doing things. So less is more, and then as you start to compete, it gets tighter and tighter. So guys are always going to try to find the advantage. For what I've seen, I've seen it overblown from guys that are just, and most of them they're guys with our background. They're military guys, and you know why? They're little like, you guys are playing sniper. Like, you guys, PRS, we don't have time for that. You guys go out and shoot. If I had a bunch of gear that wasn't helpful, then I wouldn't do it. Now, match directors can put any kind of restrictions they want on their matches.
Like a one-bag match, or no tripods, etc.
They won't do it. So why do you think they won't? A lot of them won't do it. Because they want match attendance, so they're giving what the shooters want. Now we need it. That's where we come in a little bit as kind of as in discussions, but it's not nearly as a big a deal as people are.
And that's been my perception. I'm just echoing kind of what I read on some forums.
Yeah, it is, and that's what I'm saying. So that's a hard thing for us guys. Is that little 5% of the world that goes on, and they're vocal guys, and the same 20 guys. It's just like, God, you really prevent me from getting the truth out there. But you know what? PRS is bad. Everyone's bad. You're right. I mean, just go in and do your thing, but don't ruin it for everybody else. We can't affect that. We can influence. We can do the right thing. We can come on. Appreciate you guys having us on, because we can communicate. Hey, this is what we're about.
Well, and one observation we had is, I would say this year we have seen more major manufacturers. I mean, take somebody like Defiance. They have their subsidiary now, Bad Rock, providing a production class rifle for $19.95. We've seen it from other vendors.
Yeah, a lot of other vendors are coming in at that price point. Yeah.
So clearly you've influenced that market.
I've done more consulting this. We were supposed to come here to thank our sponsors. I've done more consulting than I've ever done in my life. I need to change what I'm doing for a living, and that's okay. I mean, that's how the sport grows, and they get it. But yeah, we've influenced a lot. I'm shocked actually coming here this year. Every booth, it's something long range. It's precision rifle.
But they're all very proud. Here's our production capable or production compliant rifle, and when you look at it, it's like you could not assemble them in parts.
There's a lot of value.
Yeah, I mean it's just.
And not everybody. That price point is not just production they influence us too.
Yeah.
Hey, how can I get a decent gun for these guys and shoot matches? So, like I said, our production is pretty small, and it makes sense. It's small because not because there's lack of guns or manufacturers out there, because most of the guys that are buying production want to get into the sport, but they might not necessarily be PRS members because they just want to go out and shoot and be on the range, do their stuff with their buddies. Well, you know what? That's okay too. It goes back to the rising tide, raising all boats.
I think, and that kind of breaks back to where you started initially too. Is we have a production division and you have that regional series. That's what's great about that is these guys now have the opportunity. I think a lot of the new guys look at it and go, "I need a $5,000 rifle. I need a $10,000 combination rifle." And now they're starting to get a lot of out-of-the-box rifles that they can pick up, throw a scope on it, and come out there and have a good time. And isn't that where it's not only growing the sport, but that is the sport of
That's what
precision
it's all
rifle.
about.
I got plenty of buddies that want to shoot, but you know they maybe don't want to borrow my rifle, but they can go out now and for a reasonable price.
And we
get
really
into
want
a
to
sport.
communicate that strongly this year. Is you can still have fun, you can still be competitive, but you don't need that custom rig to do it.
Oh yeah, you can hit targets out to $1,000 with a 308.
If you can.
Well,
It should
I mean,
be-
I'm not-
It should be illegal, but never mind.
Well, I mean, granted, it's artillery-like trajectory,
But
but
you 6'5" guys talking about promoting 3. What is going on with you guys?
it's not a promotion. No, I mean, I'm just supplementing Steve's assertion that bring what you have, get in there, start shooting, make those friendships, and then you're hooked, and all your disposable income will be taken care of.
Right. Yeah.
Jason, Shannon, I want to thank you for sitting in with us and sharing your perspectives on PRS for this year, and wish you guys the best of luck in 2019. 2019.
That's the year. Yep.
Yep.
Thanks for having us.
All right. It's a blur.
guys.
No, thanks a lot. Really appreciate
thanks.
it.
I appreciate it.
Oh,
man.
thank you.
We got to do more often.
Thank you very much.